Hi, Nikki.
Hi.
Hi. How are you doing today?
I'm okay. I'm doing
Yeah.
alright.
Yeah. How was your week? Anything in particular this week that you want to talk about?
Yeah, I had a really rough day on Wednesday. I couldn't get out of bed and I ended up skipping my class that day, and I just felt really horrible about it. I just couldn't do it. I didn't make it there, and I've been late before, but I've never skipped a whole class, so yeah, it's just not been a good week.
Yeah, sounds like you're feeling pretty bad about the fact that you missed it.
Yeah, I'm feeling like really guilty and just really down about it.
Yeah, and when you realized that you were missing the class, were there any thoughts that you were having about, that made you feel especially down? Any thoughts connected to missing class?
Yeah, I mean, I was just feeling like I'm not a good student, and I was feeling like I'm wasting my education, and I was just feeling like I don't really have anything to contribute to the class anyways, so what's the point of going? Yeah.
So it sounds like you're having some pretty negative thoughts about yourself, and then you're feeling pretty bad about it. Yeah. So I was thinking, last week we were talking about how some of these thoughts can contribute to our moods and maintain some of the depression that you've been having.
Yeah.
I was thinking maybe we could kind of take a closer look at that this week, a look at those thoughts and how they're being maintained. Does that sound okay to you?
Yeah. Sounds like it might be hard, but
yeah, it's a hard thing to start looking at. Definitely. But the example that you just gave, you named some of these thoughts that we call in the cognitive model of therapy, we call those automatic thoughts, which are these thoughts that they're not necessarily based in reality, they're not necessarily true, but they're usually negative, the automatic thoughts that come up, and they make you feel pretty bad when you believe them, when you believe that they're true. So one thing that I want to look at, I was thinking we could fill out this thought record today and look at some of these thoughts and then look for evidence that either supports why they might be true, or evidence that that does not support the thoughts that makes you sort of say, wait a minute, this might not always be fact.
Okay.
So why don't you start by rewriting for me, just in your own words, kind of the gist of the situation that you just described.
Okay, so I couldn't get out of bed.
Yeah.
And I skipped my class.
Okay. Okay. And then go ahead in the second column and write down some of the moods that you were feeling when you realized you were missing your class and couldn't get out of bed. What were a couple of the moods that you were feeling at that time?
Yeah, I was feeling really guilty for skipping the class, and feeling really down.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah.
Guilty and down. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so now next to those moods, I want you to go ahead and rate from 0 to 100, kind of how intense they were feeling. So on a scale of 0 to 100, how guilty were you? How guilty were you feeling, with 100 being really guilty?
Okay. Yeah, I'd say like 95.
Okay, so you're feeling pretty
really
guilty.
Yeah. And down, I would say like a 90.
Okay, so the next thing I want us to do is go ahead and write down some of these automatic thoughts that we were talking about. So those thoughts that, whether you were, you probably weren't conscious about having them.
Yeah.
but the ones that just kind of popped up into your mind and made you feel especially bad.
Yeah, I mean, I was thinking, like, I'm a bad student.
Okay.
Thinking that, yeah, I don't have anything to contribute to class.
Okay.
Yeah, and it's kind of feeling, you know, like I'm a failure.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I can't even, like, get to class.
Yeah.
Like, never mind do anything good in the class.
Yeah, those are some tough thoughts to have. It kind of makes sense why thinking those thoughts would make you feel pretty bad.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. So, out of these thoughts that you wrote down, I wonder if there's, excuse me, any one thought in the format of this worksheet. We call it the hot thought, and that means kind of, I guess, if you could imagine, you know, if only one of these thoughts were here, you would be feeling like the most guilty and the most down, sort of the thought that really gets you the most, that really kind of makes you feel stuck.
Yeah.
Is there one of these thoughts that feels like it has the most grip on you?
I think probably, you know, that I don't have anything to contribute to class.
Okay.
Because that's really the one that's like, what's the point of going if I can't contribute anything?
So that one makes you feel pretty bad about yourself.
Yeah.
Like, I don't have anything to contribute, so why go anyway?
Right,
Yeah.
exactly. Yeah.
Okay, so go ahead and circle that thought. Great. Okay, so next we're going to go ahead and look at evidence that supports the thought, this hot thought that you just circled. So can you think of evidence for why that might be true?
Yeah, I mean, I don't always remember what I'm gonna say. Like, I was in class the other week and we were going around in a circle and like it got to me and like I couldn't remember what I was gonna say and I just like felt really dumb.
Okay.
So like forgetting. And yeah. And I also like don't always say like what I'm trying to say. Like I feel like I like stumble over my words or like what I say is not really what I mean and then I'm not getting my point across. I just feel like I'm not saying anything worthwhile. Like I'm not contributing.
Okay. So yeah, you've noticed times that you're stumbling over your words.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's some evidence for why, you know, it's evidence maintaining that thought that, you know, you don't have anything to contribute. That's sort of what you're saying. That's what you're saying to yourself about why you have nothing to contribute. Is like you're looking at those times of, well, sometimes I don't say exactly what I want or I forget, and that kind of fuels that thought.
Yeah.
So now we're going to go ahead and look at evidence that does not support that hot thought. So can you think of some examples for why that might not be true? Any examples of times where you have contributed or, you know, felt like you said something impactful?
Yeah, well, I guess the other week in class, like at the end of the class, one of the other students came up to me and said that they like really liked what I said.
Okay.
Even though I didn't really feel that way, like they like complimented me on it.
That's a great example. Yeah.
So.
Yeah, that's really validating for somebody else to tell you they liked what you said.
It did. It felt really good.
Yeah.
And I mean also like my professors have been giving me full participation grades in other semesters, so I guess I must be.
That's huge.
Contributing something.
That's an awesome one to write down. Yeah, that gives you great evidence for, you know, somebody else, you know, thinking that you are contributing.
Yeah.
Okay, great. So now what I want us to do is go ahead and look at this next column. We're going to try and take, you know, the evidence that supports why the thought is true, and the evidence that says, kind of calls that into question, some evidence against it, and come up with like what we could call an alternative way of looking at it, or kind of a more balanced thought. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Kind of bringing those two together and having kind of a more integrated way of looking at it?
Yeah, I think I could do that.
Okay, great. Why don't you take a shot at it?
So I guess looking at both of these things, I guess I could say that even though I don't always feel like I'm contributing, that other people see me as contributing and like appreciate what I have to say.
That's amazing. Yeah, go ahead and write that down. Great. And that's also great evidence for what you're thinking. The thoughts that you're thinking about yourself aren't necessarily what other people are thinking about you, right? So you're thinking thoughts that are keeping your mood negative, and that's actually not the reality of how other people may be looking at you, right? So, okay. So now that you've come up with that more balanced thought, and since we've gone through this worksheet, I wonder if we can go back and rate your moods again of how you're feeling now, how guilty or how down you're feeling now, and then you can also add a mood and rate it if another mood has come up for you.
Okay. So I'm guilty. I feel like guilty has kind of stayed the same because I still like skipped the class.
Yeah.
But down, I'm definitely feeling less down. I would say down is like more like a 70 instead of a 90.
Okay. So it sounds like this process might have felt helpful.
Yeah, right? Definitely. I guess I would say I feel like a little more like hopeful.
Okay, yeah.
That I can contribute something.
That's great. Great. Was there anything about this that didn't work for you, or any feedback that you have about this process or our session today?
No. I feel like it was really helpful.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Great. So, just to kind of talk about it again. I was thinking we could maybe throughout your week, you could consider, if you're notice when you're having these thoughts. That's kind of the first step, right? Is noticing when those thoughts are happening, because then, as we kind of saw today, then that's an opportunity to start working with them. And so I wonder if it sounds reasonable for you to take home. I can give you a blank one for the week. And maybe you can fill out one or two thought records, and we can discuss it in our next session. Do you think that would work for you?
Yeah, definitely.
Okay.
I can do that.
Great. It doesn't take too long, right? Yeah. So really starting to look at these thoughts, and noticing when they're happening, and then kind of, really reframing them and coming up with thoughts that maybe are a little bit that are hopefully less negative, so that your mood feels a little bit better. Does that sound like a good way to kind of work with some of the depression feelings you've been having?
Yeah, I think it can help.
Okay, great. All right, well, I'm going to send you home with these, and I look forward to seeing you next week.
Sounds good.
Okay, thank you.